Hello everybody, I am Road2501 and I have yet another video in what is now definitely a series for the channel. It is a Forza Motorsport 7 video for my mother, who is hardcore and loves supercars and hypercars as much as I do. I have 3 different ones today, plus one special one that I've modified, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I get there. And it'll be the same thing as with the other Forza videos. Small details about the car, or the interesting facts about them, the reasons I like them in particular, why I think they're a particularly cool supercar or hypercar. And we're going to start off with a surprise, I guess you could say, or it was a surprise to me when I first found out about it. The best way I can sum up this car is it's like the chubby kid who could enter the 100-yard dash and convincingly win versus all the other guys who actually are slimmer, weigh less, and run just as fast as him, only he's faster. So this is basically the chubby kid that is super duper fast, but he looks really, really good while he's doing it. Because the car, it's a Bentley Continental GT Speed. So if you're unfamiliar with the brand Bentley, they pretty much only make very luxurious, cool looking cars for rappers and other rich people. The major difference with this one, obviously, is not only is it a super expensive car for rich people and rappers, but it also hauls enough ass for 2 people, or 4 if you put that many in the car. So it's a super luxury car that has all the amenities that you would get in a luxury car or have in a luxury car of Bentley's caliber, but like it's also a super hyped up muscle car. It sounds like an old muscle car, but it looks like the debutante going to the ball. The duality of the two is why I love the car so much, but also the sound. The car weighs just over 5,000 pounds, so it's super heavy, but it still has over 600 horsepower. It's a sight to be seen and heard, which we'll do now. And there's only I've only got 2 laps, because otherwise I'd be here all day just running laps. I'll do one view outside the car and one view inside with the pretty blue color. There's another Bentley right next to me. There's a Mercedes I'm crashing into out in front. There's a Porsche to my right. The reason I'm kind of naming off these particular cars is this high-end, super comfortable, awesome Bentley is mixed in with these other crazy cars that are in that division. It's called Luxury GT, I believe. So there's a lot of really good competition, like proper or normal, however you want to call it, type of supercars or fast cars, and I'm just running into everything. And this big man, the big boy, not only can he keep up with them, but he can quite easily pass them and out by quite a margin. One of the other really awesome things about this car in particular, because it's a luxury car and stuff like that, like it handles, it drives well. Just ran into a Porsche. This could technically be like an off-road car or like a really, really heavy rally car that's bright blue, because it's all-wheel drive, meaning all the wheels. Oh, that was a mistake. Meaning, all the wheels get power from the engine. So they all grip. Oh, too busy talking, not driving. It's the bright blue colors throwing me off. I would honestly definitely say that this car, compared to a lot of the I've featured and or like, it's not as fast as those, because the total 3-lap time that I put in on this track will come in, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds or so slower than most of those cars, but it's just the combination of factors that this car has that just amazes me, why I like it so much. And it's just really pretty, especially with the blue color that I found out. Oh, that's an Aston Martin. Oh yeah, just passed an Aston Martin in a Bentley that weighs 5,000 pounds. And the sound of the car too, I mean, just listen to it. It sounds like a normal, what you would think like a Hellcat or a Charger would sound like. It sounds like a honest to goodness muscle car. But like I said, it looks like the debutante going to the ball. And it handles really well too, despite my poor driving. Finally get to the inside view because I wasn't losing the race anymore. But I mean, just hear the sound from the inside of the car too, just all muscle. Just super skinny hot chick that can punch through concrete. Crazy, like just odd combination of factors. Whoever came up with the overall design for this car originally is just genius. One of the other major factors that helps the car go so awesomely fast, it's got a V12 engine, so it's a really huge engine with a ton of cylinders. Same kind of engines that are in Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff like that. Ooh, just barely touched it. Kind of losing it there. Ooh, too busy railing on the car to drive the car. I only ruined the blue paint job a little bit, not a lot. See? Only a few scrapes. But yeah, like I said, compared to my other hypercars and supercars, my normal lap times are, it's 2:06. My normal lap times in my other cars on this particular track come in under a minute. So this is a good 7 seconds, 8 seconds slower. But like I said, it's not the fact that it can or can't keep up with some of those other ones. It's the fact that it blows away everything else in its own division, combined with the fact that it's a luxury car with a massive engine with a ton of horsepower that is 4-wheel drive. Who knew? And it's just one of those things where the overall aesthetic, like design, the prettiness of its shape, I guess. And as usual, I'm wearing my Halo race suit, the one I'll never take off. I may consider wearing the Stig suit once, but it won't be a permanent thing. The Halo suit will go right back on. Despite my poor driving, the mods that I was using that it was tallying up a moment ago, none of those were affecting the actual handling of the car or anything like that. Those were just ones to earn me a little extra cash and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the overall look for this car. It's just it's a Bentley that goes really fast. and I made it a pretty blue color. This is another one of those cars where I saw it and thought it looked pretty awesome offhand first, and then they started talking about the car and how awesome it was, and then looked into it more and figured out even more how awesome it was. So this, as you can read, it's a Mercedes-Benz, but it's in the class of the AMG Blacks, which is like a class of cars they made back in the 90s, 2000s ish, and they were all like super high performance cars that Mercedes didn't make beforehand. So it's kind of, I guess, mid-range luxury, but it hauls enough ass for 100 people. It's this particular car, unlike some of the other cars that are in the AMG Black series or in the Mercedes-Benz AMG Black series, this is the fastest, craziest, most horsepowerest, run out of control version of the car. There's a hypercar version, which is a Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG Black. This car actually has more horsepower and goes faster than that one. And it's pretty red color. I've been practicing using this particular car for a couple days since I bought it, because it's a surprise. Like, you'll be doing just fine as you're driving and using it, and then all of a sudden you'll just, the back end will throw itself out, and it'll literally just want to do its own thing. It sneaks up on you, the power and the want to just basically wave its butt or its ass all over the track. And you'll see what I mean as I drive it. It's a rear wheel drive car, so all the power is going in the back, which is why the back end swerves so much. It's if you know how to drift in this game, this car is practically made for that without you really having to do anything. It wants to drift its back end just all over the place. Combined with its kind of long, flat aesthetic, just makes the overall car, to me, it just looks great. But with that maddening horsepower and the fact that it, wants to wave all over the track, when I first drove it, it was a really big surprise, because most of the cars, the physics, they handle real well, made for driving tracks and stuff like that. This thing is just, it's a drifter, and it definitely caught me by surprise. The first lap I did around this track, which I know really well because it's kind of one of the only ones that I race, as you've seen from the other videos, and just crashed all over the place, kinda. Certain curbs just snuck right up on me. And it's just that sudden power. So there's a Viper in front of me, and what is... Oh, that's a Lamborghini. And much like the Bentley, it sounds like a regular old, big old muscly, just dude who spends 10 hours in the gym and not much else kind of muscle car. But the acceleration is blinding in this thing. From the rolling start, you'd be well into first before that first curb. Which is how I hurled myself into first place so quickly during the rolling start. Even that took me by surprise. The brakes are fantastic in this car, but man, if you don't really know how to use them, this thing will get away from you in a second. This is one of the few cars that I have trouble controlling while it's in this mode. And most of the other cars, it's not a problem at all. This one, it's quite taxing actually. Might look like I'm doing alright, but there's a lot of brake feathering going on that don't normally do. If we look at the lap times for this car compared to the Bentley, you'll see what I mean by it's fast, but it's not as fast as, you know, some of these other guys. Oh, little bump, little bump. Oh, losing it right there. See that super wide turn? It just, the car wanting to wave all over the place. Oh, that was a bad time to do that. But I got it back. Listen to this thing, just almost angry. Like I often refer to a Lexus LFA as a angry robot, crazy car. This one doesn't sound like a robot, much like the LFA, but it's definitely angry. None of the other AMGs sound like this thing. It's awesome. It's like meeting a German who's born in Germany, who's never left Germany, but sounds like he's from Brooklyn or something like that. It's just, don't expect these cars to sound this way or to drive, like, just be this nuts. This is like American crazy compared to European sensibility. You see just a moment ago how I kind of just almost bit it into that. And you can see the back end is just always kind of leaning out from my turn. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. See, this car just wants to drift. My good friend Mr. Wizard would love this car driving in this game because he could probably drift the crap out of this thing. See, minute 59, the Bentley GT speed was 2:06. So it competes, but like I said, it's just the staggering combination of mechanical awesomeness that just make me love that car. And for the same reason, love this car. It's crazy mechanical awesomeness. Just don't mind the scratches. They buff right out. Another crazy fact about that particular car, the wheels, even though you don't really see them, it has extra wide tires, which makes the if you saw that wheel well, how it was kind of bulging out. Look how much that wheel well is bulging out from that. Cars don't normally have that kind of girth, let's say, in a wheel well. It's from the extra wide tires to help with its grip, even though I was not gripping as well as I wanted. But yeah, that car, for that particular series of Mercedes AMGs, it's just awesome. I love it. The last one, technically, I wouldn't say it's my favorite out of the three, but I really love this car more than the other ones. I love this car almost as much as the Bugatti and the Aston Martin Vulcan that I have. And it's a pretty blue color like the other one. So this, as you saw a moment ago, it's a Lamborghini Murcielago LP 640. They have crazy names. But it goes along with the cool, crazy, like, look at that shape. It's just aerodynamic hump, kinda. I like the aesthetic look of this car, probably second best compared to the Bugatti. It just looks like it's made to bend the wind out of its way and almost like teleport into another universe or something, or just part air like the Red Sea. It's just very well designed, in my opinion. And this one I'm going to do from standing instead of rolling like the other two to got to show the speed off for this thing. Much like every Lamborghini that came before it and most of the ones afterwards, it's a crazy Lamborghini, meaning unlike the Bentley, which is the debutante that can really haul ass, this is the debutante that is, it's been off her meds for a couple of days and can haul ass and looks pretty. And please don't take it to mean, crazy women or anything like that. I refer to all cars as her, mostly because of the shape. That aside, if you had to humanize the car, or if you gave it human traits, that's what it would be. Debutante looks, off your meds, fast as a flash. No other way to put it. Or at least no other way I can think of putting it. This car is the epitome of Lamborghini sound. Listen to this thing. And go. Past an Audi, past an AMG, past another AMG, just past a 1 in 70. Ooh, I'm too busy calling out the cars. I passed the Aston Martin 1 in 77, which is a really cool car that I will put on here at some point. It's just super expensive. Look at all the Lambos that are in this class too. Keep running into that one. I think that's a Renault of some kind. Oh, look how I'm in this car. Just drives so smoothly despite my kind of bad hand. I'm talking and extolling the car more than driving. Ooh, 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 ooh. Almost. There we go. The last time I did a practice lap with this particular car on this particular track, I was fighting it out to win the race versus a Lamborghini Aventador. So this car was keeping up with an Aventador on this particular track, like bumper to bumper. And that Aventador is no joke. Ooh, running into that Porsche. And the Porsche ran into me. I deserve that. Oh, didn't mean to do that. It's an ugly race. It's such a beautiful car. There we go. Can't keep up with me. now that I'm looking at the car in front of me, this particular Lamborghini has above 600 horsepower. This Lamborghini is actually faster than a Pagani Zonda, which at the time was a quite ridiculous hypercar. This Lamborghini out horsepower. Oh, ran into the back of that one. There's Porsche. This Lamborghini outdoes the Zonda by a decent margin, in my opinion, both in looks and in performance. That is an Aventador, I believe. And there's a Porsche in the lead. Oh, let's see if I can beat him. It's only 2 laps. Oh, I keep running into everybody. I promise the handling on this car is really, really good despite my poor driving. I'm just not doing it justice. Yep, there's a Aventador right there. There's 2 of them, I think. We'll find out as soon as we cross the finish line. Oh, come on, let me beat him. Let me beat him. Oh! Pretty sure that was an Aventador. Let's find out. The Aventador was in the lead. The Reventone was the one who beat me. So, my lap time, 155. Way ahead of the GT speed, of course, but still, like, most Bentleys would be miles and minutes behind. But that car is just super streamlined. The other thing that makes me like this car so much, have so much feeling for it, and you'll have to forgive the kind of long story, but so it's a Lamborghini Murcielago. Murcielago in Spanish is... That is a suit that looks like a piñata. Interesting. Anyway, so it's a Lamborghini Bat. One of the TV shows that I watch, anime called Bleach, there is a character in the show, and the weapon that he uses, if he wants to basically make himself stronger or turn into a monster, essentially, he calls out the name of the weapon, which happens to be Murcielago. And the guy turns into a bat. And the character itself, I really, really like the overall aesthetic of that particular character. So one of my favorite anime characters shares the same name with a super awesome car, which just made me like it even more because, you know, same name, my brain just put them all together. All right, so this is the surprise, so to speak, or the extra bit of the video. Normally I'd stop after the 3, but I had a little bit of leftover monies from doing those other cars, so I went and bought this 1973 911 Carrera. So this is the, I guess, the Porsche that kind of started this wave of look in Porsches, and they went from 911s to 918s to 911 GT 2RSs and GT 3RSs, like this one here. Technically, this is like a progenitor. It's a start. I have a forever car. If you watch one of the older Forza videos, you'll see it. It's a 2013 Ford Mustang GT500. and it's made to look like the one from the movie Need for Speed. That's my forever car for several reasons, and the video can tell you why. So this would be the forever car of the ancient one, who is my father. So this is my father. This is his forever car, and since I had the extra cash to get it, I got it. But unlike the other cars, which aren't really, mega souped up, this one is. Normally, this car only does 250 or so in horsepower. I've kind of tinkered with that. And let's just say I brought it into a more super hyper car standard. And I'll demonstrate that with a standing start. Not that this wasn't a fast car for its day, or even pretty, because, I mean, it's a little bug-eyed in my opinion, but it still looks cool. Like it's just got big glasses or something. But yeah, like I said, this is the Ancient One's forever car. He's been quite enamored with it since he was a child, which, was a really, really long time ago because, he's the Ancient One. So much like I've done special cars to show that my mother likes, well, I'm also getting the Ancient One in on it too. So like I said, you gotta dip a tiny bit out of reality for this one. It won't sound like it's supposed to or anything like that, and it's gonna go a hell of a lot faster and control a hell of a lot better than it did originally. Which is not to say that it didn't go fast or control well, but the car was made in '73. Obviously, only had that year's worth of standards to it, I guess you could say. I've brought it into a modern era and just made it go fast as hell because I wanted it to go fast as hell. Because it's a pretty red color. Which is what the Ancient One requested. The color, not the speed. Listen to this thing. And I'm gone. I just passed a Mercedes AMG, and I'm currently running into a Porsche, I think. Nope, that was a Mercedes as well. So two AMG blacks, just dusted them. So unfairly. It's kind of like Frankenstein's monster, but Frankenstein's going really, really fast. In a really old shell. Yeah, normally in the game, it's a C-class car, I believe. I've tinkered with things, as you can see. Almost losing it there. And I put it into the A-class, so it's got 600 or so horsepower that it shouldn't. I didn't even know if the car was capable of having that many horsepower back in the day. But thanks to the miracle of Forza Motorsport 7, this one does. I did learn a fun fact about the physics in this game. Wow. I'm not paying attention. Because I did have it past A-class into ridiculous class and ridiculous horsepower. Credit to the awesome, real-life physics of this game. With a rear-engine, rear-wheel drive car that is very light. If you make it go really fast because of lots of horsepower and torque, the back end of the car actually kind of takes off like it's a plane. Because it had so much, wheel spin from the torque and the horsepower, the front end was always jumping up as I was just driving normally. So it's like I constantly in a drag race or from starting stop. Like start stop, start stop. The front end was bouncing like it had hydraulics basically the whole time I was doing the race. It made it really hard and interesting to control, but it was funny to see that that was even possible in the game. Like the real physics of the game made the car do what it probably would have done in real life if it had, you know, like 800 or 900 horsepower on a car that barely weighs like 2,000 pounds. Surprised it didn't shoot off to the moon or something. Ooh, almost lost it, almost lost it. But yeah, I'm totally annihilating all the other cars for no reason, simply because, like I said, it's ancient once forever car. I had to make it beefy. I do love the sound though. Whoop, whoop. Oof. Doing alright, doing alright. So yeah, you'll have to forgive me for the cheat, but like I said, I wanted to go fast in this car. He was jealous of his newer brothers, I guess. Ooh, had to help him out. There we go. There we go. Lap time's a little over a minute, right around the Bentley. Yeah, it's right around Bentley time, but hey, he shouldn't have been there to begin with. So, thanks for watching, and remember to watch out for the 911 Carreras from the early 70s that are containing enough horsepower that it might shoot to the moon. Thanks for watching.